Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to EML. We are here for round 10 of the F2 season, and we are finishing the season in the city of Las Vegas, underneath all the lights and craziness that happens in this nuts city, really. I'm your lead comms, Lesty, and again, thankfully, joined by my co-commentator, Adrian.
Hi, great to be here at the Las Vegas Strip Circuit. Of course, just hosted their first ever real Formula 1 race. We'll try to best that with an even better race. A pretty decent race in real life, contrary to what some expected. But I tell you what I am expecting tonight is actually quite a good race. Lots of good overtaking opportunities here. I say lots. There's a few. Into turn 5, into turn 14, those I would say are the main ones. Though in league races of my own, I have overtaken through turn 10 even. If you get a good run out of turn 9, that's not an impossibility. So we'll see where the drivers try to overtake tonight.
Yes, of course, 2 DRS zones. They are your main opportunities of overtakes. But it is a first for EML here for us to be taken to the streets of Las Vegas. So who knows what's going to happen. All we know is we're going to bring you all the action as it happens. And hopefully, like Adrian said, we'll bring you an even better race than the one in real life. But as we start, Adrian, I don't know if you want to take us a lap around this circuit with LDL Nico.
I'd be happy to. So, flat out final corner, he's already started his run onto the first lap. Turns 1 and 2 here, an early turn in. You want to get the car rotated because it's now going to be a really quick and winding turn 3 and 4. Realistically, this should be turn 2 as Nico actually getting a snap of oversteer. But he's onto the first DRS straight now. Up to turn 5 to 90-degree corner. How is he going to manage this turn in? We'll wait to see. He's far to the left. Just about misses the curve. We'll see if other drivers do that too. He stays very far to the inside through this left-hander. Now it's an awkward chicane here. Hits the curb, hits the next curb, up to turn 9 now. This is an important corner to get a good exit from. Managing quite wide on the exit. He's just almost hit the wall, but that's exactly what he wants, just avoiding it. Flat out through turns 10 and 11 here. Now into turn 12, we've seen contact here in real life. The barrier really comes out at you on the exit. Almost getting some slipstream from the AlphaTauri there. Doesn't quite get it. Now we have a little bit of a rest down the long straight. Excellent overtaking opportunities down here. You can see it twisting and turning. There's the Eiffel Tower on the left for some reason. But now he has to focus on the main braking zone of this circuit. Hits it left. He's going to have to keep careful of the walls here. Just skipping over the curb on the right-hander of 15. Now he's coming down to the last corner. Just like we saw earlier, it should be flat out. He's nearly out of ERS. Deploy used even, and he comes across the line with a 131.538. That's a pretty solid lap, but we'll have to see how it is in comparison to other drivers when they finish their own laps.
Yeah, thank you for that, Adrian. Beautifully commentated over, I have to say. But yeah, Nico puts the benchmark of 131.5. Let's see what else we're going to get from the rest of the field. His teammates up next, LDL Oni, and he only manages 31.8, so a few tenths off. Philip of IRT is next. It's a 31.8 for him. A couple of Ferraris coming up, but it's Jeroen actually starting his flying lap. Snipes comes up to line. An unusual off the pace time for Snipes, 32.1 for the WR man. There's even more drivers coming up to the line now. I see Dara, I do see Gogotsky of CPI puts himself into P2, 131.6, and the times are slowly rolling in.
Yeah, so lots of drivers setting times now, 7 of them even, as we'll see Paul Pera putting in 5th place with the 131.8. So Nico still staying on provisional pole for the time being. A bit over 12.5 minutes left. We'll see can anybody else jump ahead of them? We've seen GT10 get a podium last time out in Imola with Quartz. He is not here today, but we'll see if anybody else can get a podium for GT10 today. Or, of course, TF10, who's seen doing exceptionally well throughout the season since they joined. They have been a front runner really since they joined in, I believe, Zandvoort, so we'll see how they do here. A P2 for Mario's Formula, 131.548, so less than a hundredth of a second separates the top two now. So very, very close lap times for those top two. Let's hope for a close race as well as a close qualifying.
Yeah, TF10 with the one man for tonight as Jerome comes across. 33.8 for him. Casper next. He goes on provisional pole for IRT. Casper, we haven't seen this man this season, so it's a new driver for us to find out here. And what an opening lap for him in qualifying. Dara comes up to line. He's only 131.6. So it's... you can't really get much better than that as a first lap in EML. 131.3. He's looking at a nice 0.2 gap to the rest of the field there. So the rest of the field for those first laps definitely need to find some time if they're going to catch up with the IRT man of Casper.
Yeah, IRT looking pretty solid here. Philip in 7th, and of course, as you said, Casper in P1 at the moment. We've got some yellow flags. I think just some drivers slowing down before their hot laps. And also, worth noting, if you look at LRN Giron for a moment, that Ferrari with the red and white livery that Ferrari, of course, designed specifically for Las Vegas, their second special livery of the season. They had the red and yellow in Monza, now the red and white in Las Vegas, and I have to say it's a really stunning livery. We'll see how often we see it towards the front tonight. At the moment, it's not looking great for LRN in 13th and 14th, but we will see if they can pull themselves a little bit higher up the grid. I wonder if they just haven't really gotten in any clean laps yet. And of course, the duo with no laps in yet at all are the RBL guys of Haas. But Gaitance, going through turn 9 now, up to turn 10, we'll see how he does. The minimap says he's purple through sector 1, although that is often a glitch that happens with this game, unfortunately. So we'll see how he really is faring when he comes up to the end of this lap.
Yeah, RVL, who have not had the best debut season here in EML F2, and it showed last week also in Imola, both their guys running fairly far down the packing order. So it's a shame, and hopefully we can actually see RVL maybe come up with a top result to finish what has been a bit of an underwhelming debut season. And Gaitance is coming up to the line to set his first time, and it's a 132.3. Not bad, but would ideally want to be in those 131 times. His teammate Lorenzo still yet to set a lap.
Yeah, we'll see. Lorenzo's still in the pits, so hopefully he'll set a lap eventually. I wouldn't imagine they have a qualifying ban or anything. Yeah, we'll see if he does set that lap eventually. And yeah, I think definitely the target, you're right, would be 131s, probably mid to low 131s. Of course, our top time so far is a 31.3 flat. So certainly that is exactly halfway between, low 31s and mid 31s. So I'd say it's exactly what we'd be expecting. Of course, third, fourth, fifth, so on and so forth. Most of them sort of in the mid 31s. We'll see if that improves. I'm sure the track presumably getting better. Track evolution will be a significant thing here tonight, I would imagine. So we'll see if these drivers are able to improve their times. It looks like most of them coming out for another flying lap. I'd imagine they'll do one lap, come into the pits, and do another one, as Nico goes back up to the top with a 31.267. That's a really good lap. First man into the 31.2s. We'll see if anyone can break into 31.1s or 31 flats. later in the session. As Casper's teammate Philip getting a bit of a tow down the long straight. Philip in the Mercedes is on a flying lap. We'll see how much this slipstream helps him on his lap. He's going to be let go now by Casper to manage the braking zone on his own. I'd be curious to see just how much this helps Philip, though. Skipping over the curb on the right-hander. Let's see, as he comes up to the line, where is it going to put him? Coming up to the left-hander, turn in, cross the line, and it's pole. Provisional pole with a 31.245. That is an excellent lap, and I'm sure Casper will have been happy to have helped his teammate there, as Casper actually going back into the pits himself.
Yeah, we are starting to see now the teams realising that a bit of slipstream down that long, very long straight is going to help heaps, and Nico and Philip have demonstrated that with their teammates. Snipes just done it also with Dara. What can he get out of his lap? Nothing, unfortunately. Too slow on that one, so he stays P10. But a lot of these teams are realising what that slipstream can do for their position, as Oni actually does go into the pits, and we have a retirement. Is that out on the track? It is. It's Lorenzo, who's actually crashed out. The one driver who's not set a lap time yet is unfortunately not going to be able to set one, as he's crashed out in Sector 1, just after, I believe, Turn 2. So that is a real shame, as we see Kogotsky improve his time up to 1:31.3. Pole Para also improving up one position. So people are slowly but surely bringing these times down, as also we're seeing the teamwork coming into play. So we should see these times drop for most of the drivers. But Adrian, what do we think is going to be, as CPR Luke goes 31.4? What do we believe is going to be the pole time here? Is those 1:31.2s fast enough, or do we believe we're going to see faster?
I think we might just about end up in the high to mid 131.1s. It's hard to say, really. I mean, the slipstream will be okay. Well, I've just been proven wrong already, as Mario goes on to pole with a 31.098. So an incredible lap there from the what is it? The GT10 driver? No, not GT10. TF10, sorry, driver. An exceptional lap from him there on provisional pole now, and he of course doesn't have a teammate here tonight actually to give him any slipstream. I was watching his lap, and he was purple since Sector 1 even. So a very impressive lap time from him. And it's going to be difficult to beat that, but with the added benefit of the slipstream for anybody working together, I don't think that'll be impossible to beat. Do you think we're going to see anyone in the 130s?
It's hard to tell, really. If that's a man on his own without any support of slipstream able to get that time, then surely these guys, with the help of slipstream and just nailing a lap, can possibly break into the 130s here. I think it is possible. It's just nailing that final lap, of which most of these drivers are now getting prepped to do so. As you can see, most of the drivers currently in the pit lane, so it's going to be close. Dara's out on track. He's currently not setting a time, so we've just got drivers out at the moment. Oh, as Dara actually misses his braking point and goes off into the runoff section. Thankfully he's okay and managed to get it spun round. But most of these drivers out now, getting prepared for their final runs. I believe Oni is the furthest round. It's either Oni or Gaitans, who has obviously lost his teammate. So no support for Gaitans for his final run. And that's going to be quite costly, isn't it?
Yeah, I would imagine so. The some of the more organized teams might be trying to give some slipstream to their teammates. We'll see who does deploy that. It's easy to just sort of go off on your own. Clearly, it is effective based on Mario's lap, but we'll see how others decide to approach it. Although worth pointing out, CPI Luke was in a battle for the win at Brazil. He seemed pretty set to get it until he actually had to drag race a TF10 driver to the line, and Riley McKay, I believe it was on that occasion, coming out on top. But certainly worth noting that Luke has had some really good performances in the past. We'll see. He's not anywhere near his teammate, but he is right behind the guy who is on provisional pole at the moment. So we'll see if he can make use of some slipstream of even a rival and try to put himself high up again.
Yeah, he seems to be, just chilling on his outlap at the moment, but so is Kogotsky, so maybe CPI not going for that slipstream. One team that, again, is going for the slipstream is the LDL pair of Nico and Oni. So they're giving a bit of slipstream. I'm not sure who it is. I'm staying on board with Guidance at the moment, as he will be the first driver to set his final time. I'm not sure how well it's going for Guidance. I think he's made a mistake or two somewhere. So we're going to leave that, as that's going to be a slower lap than his current time. LDL Oni is actually invalidated, so that slipstream has gone to waste for him, and he will now focus on giving his teammate the favour in return. Next up the road, I believe, is the WR Snipes, actually, and he's got his teammate Dara waiting up for him. So Snipes sitting currently down 11th, not a place we usually see Snipes. He's usually at the top end of the field when it comes to the end of qualifying. So this lap is quite big for Snipes in terms of the pace that he usually brings.
Yeah, we'll see if he can make use of well, he looks like he's got some slipstream from the driver in front, an Alpine GT10 driver then. Was actually, speaking of that Alpine, sort of getting in the way a little bit there through turns 15 and 16. We'll see if that affects Snipes at all. We'll see. Oh, only 10th for Snipes. He does improve, but not by much. So maybe not the lap Snipes will have wanted, as Dara actually crashing out on the run to the line. So that's both Alfa Romeos, both WOR drivers done. Philip done as well. We'll see who else can set a good lap time in the meantime. Casper done, 31.2 in the end. So it looks like Mario might be safe on pole, but we'll see if Nico can do anything, for example. He's coming up to the line now. He's on provisional pole, 30.9. So they are into the 30s now. We'll see if Mario can respond. He is over a 10th up in Sector 1. We'll see what he can do. Is there anyone closer to the line in the meantime? Kogotsky, I believe, is about to finish his lap. We'll see what he can do. Cross the line, and it's still 5th. Not sure who is next across the line. It looks like LRN Thomas, but he's going into the pits. And hard to say who's next, honestly. But
it's
it
Mario.
might be worth looking at Mario.
Yeah, Mario coming up to the line. Pole Para pulled into the pits, so a lot of drivers giving up their final runs, but Mario... Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God. Wow. That is something I've definitely not seen before. An exact time for pole position, but Nico gets pole due to setting the time first.
I don't know if, I'm not sure if we have like a moment of the season here in EML, but if we do, it's gotta be that. That is exceptional. Both of them setting such insane lap times and getting the same one at that. That is just unbelievable.
What an effort by Mario. No slipstream or teammate to help him. He managed to match LDL Nico with the help of his teammate Slipstream. for that pole position. And he got the time first. So Nico for LDL takes pole here in Las Vegas. Then it's Mario for TF10, and Casper on his EML debut takes P3. CPI Luke P4, Philip 5th, then Kogotsky, Dara, Polpara, LDL Oni and Snipes in P10. Then comes Thomas, Skies, Devin, Guidance, Jeroen and Lorenzo rounds us off in 16th. We will be, for those viewing us, we will be going to a new lobby because we are meant to have 17. TGT Palmer was our host and he lagged out before the session. So there is going to be a quick break just to get into a new lobby and then we will be underway. So just if you're wondering what's about to happen on
Yeah, that was just unbelievable, really. I mean, both of those drivers getting the exact same lap time is not something I can say I've seen before. I certainly don't think I have, at least. Just something else, really. It's, 6.201 kilometers to split those two drivers, and they managed to set the exact same lap time. That is just incredible.
That is something. It's definitely I've seen drivers get the same times before, but for pole position, that's definitely a new one for me. And what an effort from Mario on his own. We haven't seen him here either in EML, so this is his debut EML race, and what an effort on his own without the help of a teammate.
Yeah, definitely. I think if he's back next season, he'll be one to watch, because that's just, on his own, especially, as you said, just on his own at a track where, so many teams were giving their drivers slipstreams. It's just so impressive to be able to match the time of Nico there. And especially pulling it into the 130s. 130.991, I believe, is the time that the both of them set. And, I think third place was a 131.2. I mean, that's just, it's such a huge gap out at the front, and to do so without any slipstream is so impressive.
It's such a huge effort on what is actually quite a challenging track as well. So fair play to those two as well for getting into the 130. Some really good times. While we wait, so what we're currently doing, waiting for the drivers to get in, to get ourselves set up for the race and everyone into the correct positions. Let's just go through the standings, which we have not done as of yet. As we know, CPI crowned champions a couple of races ago, so they are sitting pretty at the top with 331 points. And then we get interesting because the battle for second was quite tight, but the gap has opened up from Imola, so it's IRT in second with 236 points, and then comes WOR in third on 208 points. So there's a 28-point gap there. Fairly big gap. Is it possible to be caught, considering where Darren Snipes have qualified for WOR?
I'm so sorry. I'm not gonna lie, I zoned out there. Could you just repeat your question, please?
So taking in the break, using the break.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. IRT in second with 236 points, and then WR in third with 208. So there's a 28-point gap. Considering where WR have qualified this evening with Snipes, I think he's just about in the top 10. is it possible this evening for them to catch up with IRT and finish in second place?
It would be a tall order, even just ignoring how good IRT seemed to be. But this weekend, I mean, we have is it Philip was so fast in qualifying, and his teammate as well. Was it what was his name? Blanken, Casper, I think. Yeah, Casper. Both of them were so quick in qualifying. I think it'd be difficult, but not impossible, for WOR if it weren't for IRT being so good. But I think with IRT being said, you know, Philip and Casper really can't afford to let their guard down. I think the two of them need to push on nonetheless.
Agreed. It's going to be hard from where they're starting this evening, but it's Las Vegas. It's a street circuit. You never know what's going to happen. Safety cars, incidents. It could just fall into their favour. So let's keep an eye on that one during the race. Another battle, as we'll continue through the standings, is for P4. Sorry, my voice is struggling there a bit. TGT in 4th with 152 points, and LDL behind them on 141. So there's only 11-point gap there, and LDL are looking pretty good with Nico on pole. Oni is inside the top 10. TGT obviously have Pole Para inside the top 10, but Harry Palmer is starting from the back due to the connection issue at the start. So that could be another one that could go right down to the wire.
Yeah, definitely. I think LDL, I would say it's advantage LDL for the race, but we'll see how it turns out overall. And both teams are very good teams, and I think actually I recognize Harry Palmer from some other leagues I've raced in, and he is quite quick. So we'll see how he holds up compared to the rest. And we'll also see how, of course, Paul Para will do compared to the rest, and especially for those two compared to Nico and Oni of LDL.
Yeah, obviously, I don't think we've seen Oni. We haven't seen Pole Para for sure. So, two different names for the two different teams. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. I'm all for an LDL victory tonight. It would be great to see for them. Not saying I don't want to see a TGT victory. No one get at me in the comments or anything. No favouring sides from me. I'm Switzerland. I'm on the fence here. But the rest of the standings before we get going, we're just about to get into the action now. TF10, who joined a couple 2-3 races ago, they've propelled themselves up into P6. They're a strong outfit, very fast drivers. So they're in P6 on 118 points. So they're only 23 away from LDL. So there is a chance they still could get into the top 5. But they've only got the one driver of Mario, so makes it difficult. And then comes GT10 in 7th on 114, only 4 points behind TF10. LRN, who left us. Oh no, LRN are here. Yeah, sorry, wrong team. LRN in 8th on 105 points. Then RVO in 9th on 94. And Legacy, who left us in P10 on 75 points. So there is still places to fight for in the standings in this last race of the season.
Yeah, certainly. It's going to be a really interesting last race. Hopefully it goes well for the drivers. I just wanted to double check a comment you made. I do believe Oni actually raced in Brazil in the event you weren't here for. I believe you were ill, possibly. I'm not certain, but yeah.
That would
Jamie
make
and I
sense.
taking over for that one.
No, that would make sense. Thank you for correcting me on that, Adrian. Obviously wasn't here for every race this season, so thank you. Before we get started then, predictions. Who's going to win this? Who's going to get the podium places?
Oh man, I mean, I think we've seen that. Sorry, I keep blanking for moments here. I believe that we've seen that TF10 is a really exceptional team so far this season since they joined, and I think Mario having put in that lap without slipstream, I think it's probably advantage him. I would say.
Yeah, that's a bold. Yeah, not bold. That's completely the wrong word. That's a educated prediction for sure, considering his pace in qualifying. So I'd probably have to agree on that. I was going to say someone else, but you made a very, very valid point there. So I think Mario as well. I'd like to see an LDL Nico podium, and then CPI Luke podium as well, but we're actually going to get into the action now with 5 red lights. And away we go. LDL Nico getting a decent start. Mario does have the inside line on him. Is he going to make a move? No, he's not. Are we all through turn 1 safely? No, there's yellow flags, contact, a bit of debris flying around, and Nico's battling for P1. A little bit of contact with Mario. Mario's jumped backwards. He's lost 3 places. He's going to lose another one to Philip. They're all very tight together. Mario's backed out. But no, he's gone forward once again. No, Philip's back ahead. CPI boys are battling it out as well. Kagotski now on the back of Nico, who has lost the lead, to Casper. And Mario's now fighting further down with Philip to try and regain those lost places up the inside. Wheel to wheel, nicely done from those two. We're on board with Dara as we watch behind to see who's going to get that place. They're still side by side. Mario finally does concede, and what an opening to that.
Yeah, and I think the medium's certainly in their operating window a lot sooner than the hards from the looks of things. Casper making an excellent start, gaining 2 positions on the start. Kagotski gaining 4 now for Kagotski. The Red Bull driver, the CPI driver, into P2 ahead of Nico now. We'll see if there's any movement further down the grid, as it looks like Mario possibly going for an overtake. He thinks better of it. On Philip, he's going to stick into the slipstream. He's using some overtake to see if he can defend from Dara. He doesn't want to lose any more positions. Already down 4 in this race. And yeah, a lot of drivers losing some positions, some gaining them. There's some movement further back. Devon and Gaitance both into the pits, so not a great start for RVL or GT10.
So yeah, it looks like that's where the contact may have come from, those 2 drivers at the back at the start of the race, as Harry Palmer has made his way up past Lorenzo. Lorenzo's got to be careful because the other TGT man of Pol Para is behind him, and these TGT pair know they've got a job to do because Nico is right up there, currently sitting in the podium position, so they need to get a move on and quickly, and Harry's already over 3 seconds behind the top 10, so work to be done early doors.
Yeah, and worth noting is also that Harry Palmer does down the inside, but in the end Pol Para goes around the outside, and Jerome going wide there for LRN. That is not what he will have wanted. Getting some damage, it looks like, I think. No, somebody else got that damage. Somebody else has lost an end plate, though I can't tell who at the current time. But, yeah, lots of chaos there just through turn 12 there. We'll see as Snipes looks like he's going to go for a move. He thinks better of it in the end. Lorenzo not far off the back of him. And, yeah, so lots of chaos right at the start, as it's the fastest lap of the race for Kagatsky, and Harry into the pits to replace that front wing that I noticed was damaged.
He is damaged, and I believe Snipes is missing an end plate. Yes, he is. He's missing the front left, so he was caught up there. So another driver missing a bit of their car. So a few bits of contact in these early laps. So drivers feisty as ever, even though this is the final race of the season. But as we said before, there's still places to be had in the final team standings. So it's completely understandable, and this is what we want to see. Guys are really racing for every point, as Nico is trying to do at the front for his team to try and finish in P4 in the team standings. And now we go to the first long straight with DRS enabled. Who's going to be making the moves? It's a DRS train. So are we going to actually see anything? Kagatsky is going to go for the move on Casper, and Nico is also going to make the move. But Casper stays up the inside, brakes later, and keeps hold of P2 for now. So clearly in the DRS train, it's really, really powerful still.
Yeah, and it was Luke looking down the inside of Nico as well towards the end. Philip setting the fastest lap of the race, so he's clearly trying to get involved with that battle in the top four. Paul Pera now going for a move for 10th position. Is he going to get past Snipes? It looks like he is. He's got the inside line. Snipes, of course, with the damage that you pointed out earlier. And now Lorenzo looking for a moment down the inside of Snipes as well. He doesn't get it done, but Paul Pera does. So Paul Pera, the TGT driver, up into the top 10, as that is Harry out of the race in a safety car deployed with that.
Yeah, Harry at the back, who pitted on the previous lap for some wing damage. It just looks like he's lost it out of that final chicane. Maybe he's got on the power too much and lost the rear, and found himself in a wall. And unfortunately, Harry Palmer, who didn't get to take part in qualifying, has only managed 3 full laps here at Las Vegas. So that is a big blow for TGT in holding on to P4 in the standings. So a lot of pressure now sits on the shoulders of Paul Para.
Yeah, and Paul, we've seen making some good overtakes so far. Just a move on Snipes not that long ago into turn 1. He is looking pretty racy at the moment, but of course it's a huge gap between him and the top 9 before the safety car came out. And we'll see here any of the medium drivers perhaps thinking about going onto the hards. Is 20 laps on the hards possible? I'd imagine so. Kagatsky, Casper, even Nico into the pits as well. So Philip is the only one of the top 5 not into the pit lane. Thomas also staying out. I would name everyone pitting, but it's just easier to name the people who haven't pitted. So Philip and Thomas will need to make another pit stop at some point during this race. But I think literally everybody else pitting, except Devin and Guy Tance at the moment. We'll see if they pit when they get up to the pit lane, but otherwise only that top 2 not pitting. We'll see if that turns out to be a mistake for them. I wonder if even the mediums can make it to the end from here. About 20 laps on them doesn't sound impossible. Much of this track is straight lines, so not super high on tire wear, but turn 2 and turn 6 and probably turn 10 and 11. None of those will be too friendly on the tires, very high speed corners there. So might see a bit of tires, bit of tires struggling towards the end of the race, possibly.
Yeah, quite possibly. I'm still sort of standing here thinking, I don't understand these pit stops. What do you think is in the minds of these guys taking these pit stops? Is it the fact that these guys think they can take these new tyres to the end, or are these guys thinking they can take a set now and then take a set of soft tyres later on?
I would imagine they're probably trying to take it to the end, but what they might also be thinking is that if it's going to be a little bit of a stretch, keeping in mind that it's Las Vegas, a safety car is not an impossibility in the slightest. So they might be banking on a safety car to help them out. They might either to just elongate the length of those tires or to take a pit stop onto the softs at the end. I would imagine drivers will keep softs as an option, but I don't think that that will be their main goal in this situation.
Yeah, so maybe the possibility of a few banking on a further safety car as well further down in the race, as we have already seen a fair amount of contact in the laps that we've had. So I totally get that thinking in terms of getting some of these to the end, especially with the mediums. I'm not too sure, but then again, in my own experience, I have not raced this track, so I may just be completely overlooking at the fact that you can take these tyres to, if a safety car comes out, most of these Clip and Thomas, the only two mediums.
Your voice is lagging a little bit, just so you know, but it actually seems to have fixed itself just as I was saying that, possibly, so.
Can you hear me?
I can now, actually. It was interesting timing of me to say, hey, your voice is lagging, just as it stopped lagging. So you are doing your internet seems to have gotten a hold of itself again now, but just thought I'd say, just because I couldn't really tell when you were and weren't speaking, but it seems alright now. I wonder if the safety car will be in soon. All the drivers have caught up, so I would imagine it will be in this lap, but it is, yes. So we'll see how this goes.
We will indeed, yeah. Sorry all watching if you've experienced any of my voice lagging or any issues with the stream. I do apologise for those that may have happened or for any that may happen in the future. But we are back to green flag racing. Philip is the man in control of the restart. He's backing everyone up, as you would imagine, and I would imagine he's going to go quite late, because if he goes fairly early, but he's gone now, Kagotski's already got a good run on Thomas, but Thomas is showing him the outside. Oh, but who's that? Casper down the inside. Kagotski with the switchback. That's 2 places in one for Kagotski. Great racing from the CPI man, and already Thomas is being swallowed up from the fresh tyres behind.
Yeah, I blinked and Casper was just there in front of Kagotski and Thomas, but Kagotski very good driving to get that position back, as you said, as we have a Ferrari of Thomas and Mario going side by side, and Luke right behind overtaking one of the GT10 drivers. Luke seems to have made it through. No, he's still side by side. He's through under traction. So that is Luke up a position for CPI. And Casper right on the back of Kagotski still. We'll see if he gets an overtake down the long straight. It's hard to say. Good slipstream, but Kagotski will also have slipstream on Philip. Philip making a pretty good jump from the safety car, it has to be said. As that's Nico actually coming towards the outside of Casper. Nico through on Casper. We'll see if he can bring that momentum up towards Kagotski. It's going to be difficult for that. Kagotski looking down the inside of Philip, but not able to make the move. Casper on the inside of Nico now. Can't quite get the position back through turn 14, is it? Hard to say on this track, honestly, the number of the corners. But yeah, so some good racing there from the top few. As Kagotski going for the lead on the outside. Is he going to get it? Philip trying to defend on the inside of turn 1 and 2. He can't quite get it yet. 3 and 4 now for CPI on the inside, and he's through. Kagotski is through for CPI.
Yeah, some great racing. Philip's showing him the outside. Philip's going to actually try and come back at him now. Kagotski now showing him the outside, but Philip's got to be careful as Nico's up the inside of him, and he takes that place. Casper also fighting behind with WOR Dara. This is a fight for the standings. IRT versus WOR. Is Casper going to be able to hold on here? Dara holding that inside line. Again, is going to go for the move. Oh, and it's tight to the wall. That's very, very close contact, tagging each other. And Mario says, thank you very much. I will take both of those positions.
Yeah, and Luke looking for an opportunity on this battling duo. These two squabbling over that position. Philip up to second on Nico. Wonder if Nico made a mistake given how early that is in the straight for Philip to have overtaken him. I think Kagatsky will be safe on this occasion down the long straight, but we'll see as Nico coming back at Philip. Nico obviously on the fresher tires. Philip didn't hit under safety car. We'll see if Mario can get a run as well. Is he going to look at the inside? He's going to look at the outside. He can't make the move. Philip trying to outbrake Nico. He can't get it. Is Mario going to have an opportunity now? He has better traction out of turn 16. He's going to move to the inside for the final corner. Is it going to be an opportunity through the final corner? He's got slipstream on Nico. He is through, going through the final corner. Is he going to look at Nico down the inside as well? He doesn't try to outbrake Nico, but he is through on Philip. So that is a good move for the TF10 driver. But Philip still looking to fight back. We'll see if Dara can now get ahead of Philip. Philip's old tires are really failing him right now. They are not doing what he needs them to do. We'll see actually, is Mario looking at Nico? He's not going to be able to, but Dara on the inside of Philip. Is he going to go for the move into turn 5? He's gone for it. Is he going to make it though? A little bit of contact, a little bit of sliding through turn 6 now into turn 7. Can he outbrake him on the outside? Not quite. So Philip maintains the position for the moment. Casper right behind him. So much going on right now.
Yeah, I'll give you a break in your voice because I definitely needed one when I was doing that action. But Mario's really been pulled into this one, and he's right on the rear of Nico now. And I believe DRS is now enabled. So here we go. Mario. Oh, there's been some contact behind. I think Thomas has ended up in a wall or a spin. He's still going, but Mario takes P2 from Nico. Is Nico going to be able to battle back? Probably not with no DRS, but further behind, Dara going around the outside of Philip. Philip's going to hold the inside. A bit of oh, he lost the rear actually. There wasn't any contact. He lost the rear, and he's lost a couple of positions. As you said, Adrian, those old tyres costing him. His GT10 Skies is now looking up the inside, getting round. Mario gets the fastest lap. Action every single lap.
Yeah,
oh,
and Mario,
Philip's got it all wrong. Philip's into the runoff.
Oh no. That is not what IRT will have wanted from Philip. Philip all the way down to 14th, just coming across the track, trying to get out of the way of Paul Pera, who nearly spins himself. And then LRN Thomas. But to tell you what, Nico, if you go on board with him, you can see just how close Mario is to the back of Kagatsky, actually. Nico falling a little ways back from this duo. So Mario right on the back of Kagatsky. I wonder if he'll go for it into turn 10, into turn 12, or into turn 14. Turn 10 seems unlikely. He'd need substantially better traction out of turn 9. He's not going to go for it through turn 10. Not sure why I keep thinking turn 10 is an overtaking opportunity, but turn 12, we'll see. He looks to the inside, but he doesn't go for it. Kagatsky looks like a little bit deep there. The barrier really comes out at you there, so he has to really turn hard right at the end of that. Mario in the DRS, in the slipstream, into P1 now it looks like. He is through for TF10. He is through and into first, but Kagatsky's going to try and fight it back in the slipstream. He's just losing time because of Mario's DRS. So Mario looks pretty safe now, skipping over that curb of turn 15. These drivers are so quick, and really the two that seem to be so much quicker even than the rest of the field at the moment are Kagatsky and Mario, especially. Mario, another fastest lap of the race, a 134.482. That is an exceptional lap from the TF10 driver.
Yes, great lap, and we're having action all the way down the field as Jerome and Devin are fighting into turn 1. Devin trying to get the move done, can't into turn 1, and on the exit of turn 2 he's still chasing the Ferrari. Not any longer. He's going past. Snipes is also getting past, but can he get past Devin? No, he's going to settle for that P9 spot for now. We also saw up ahead some movement. Nico losing a place to Dara, and now is under threat from Casper, who's gone up the inside, and he's got the move done. A bit of wheel banging there. as Jeroen picks up a time penalty, and there's action back there as well as he swaps places with Oni of LDL, and CPI Luke is now licking his lips at this battle because he's going to get a massive toe of DRS on these guys. Kagotski about 8 tenths from the back of Mario. Is he going to be able to make a move? We'll jump to him. I think he's just a bit too far.
Casper's going to get Dara. Casper's through, so's Nico. Dara just sinking on this straight as, Luke nearly running into the back of Dara. Has to get out of it on that straight. Casper into third, Nico into fourth, Dara down to fifth, and Luke staying in sixth for the time being. He will surely be fighting to get higher up in this grid, hoping to join Kagotski on the podium, but for the time being it's going to be Nico down the inside of Casper into turn 1. He can't make the move. Dara on the outside. He's going to try and make the switch back through turn 2. He's going to get him. A bit of a snap of oversteer. Nico keeps the position for the time being. Will Luke sense an opportunity here? Luke nearly into the wall. Luke, what a save from the CPI driver. Not sure how he did that, but he has. Wow.
Yeah, fair amount of drivers actually losing the rear end in turn 2 there. Obviously the back is snapping out as Devon and Snipes continue to fight further down the field. This is for P8. Snipes trying to come back, not able to, but as we can see, the grip in the rear is not there for a lot of these drivers as we're seeing the cars squirrel round turn 2. But this is a good little battle here for that P3 spot, and considering Casper's actually on hard tyres, he's doing a pretty good job with the guys behind him that have DRS.
Yeah, that's true. The Herds probably after 7 laps into their working range, but still the Herds at this point for probably a couple more laps will be disadvantaged compared to the mediums. Well, it'll be interesting to see when the mediums fall off of the cliff compared to the Herds, as further back Oni making up a couple of positions on Devon and Snipes. Snipes getting ahead of Devon as well, so Devon really sinking down this straight. When you have a couple guys behind you going onto the long straight, you really need a lot of ERS if you're going to keep ahead of them. And Devon, an excellent demonstration of the fact that you just can't keep those positions down the straight. Basically a guaranteed overtake on the run down to 14 if you are in the DRS. Unfortunately, that is potentially a flaw of this circuit. But we'll see how much of an effect it has as Kagotski, I think, closer to Mario than he has been at all in the past few laps, only 4 tenths off. We'll see if he has an opportunity out of 12 down towards 13 and 14 as he actually goes off track at turn 8. That is not what the CPI driver will be looking to do at all, losing all of the advantage he had gained since the last time they were around that part of the track. And yeah, possibly losing an opportunity for an overtake down towards turn 14.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like throughout the lap that Kagotski is losing time, and then he's crawling it all back on this straight with the help of the DRS. So you'll see this gap that was about a second already starting to tumble down. He'll get pretty close to the back of Mario here within a couple of tenths, but behind is where the action is happening. Nico retaking P3 from Casper. And it looks like these two are starting to break away from the rest. Snipes and LDL. Oni still swapping places. There's a nice battle back here. We've got a few sort of groups separating up now as Casper is looking to take the position into turn 1. No, he's not. He's just going to sit behind Nico and bide his time.
Yeah, and I would just like to quickly thank Philip for validating my calling turn 10 and overtaking zone a few times. He did get past one of the drivers there as Casper going past down towards turn 5. He is ahead of Nico now. So this group battling quite a bit as Luke goes wide through turn 5, just bumping against the wall. He'll hope to have not gained any damage from that. He looks to be alright in that sense. We'll see how much time that loses him, though, as he is just over a second behind Dara now. So we'll see if that group of 3, Casper, Nico, and Dara, can pull away from Luke now that Luke is out of the DRS, although he has just pulled himself back into it. So we'll see if he's still in it through the DRS detection point.
Yeah, Luke seems to be struggling a little bit in the slow corners and twisty turns for this track. We'll go back to Kogotsky, who was a bit closer, so may actually have an attempt here. He's on the back, but he actually doesn't want to. He backs off. And I think we had a move behind. Was it Nico, I believe, taking Casper again? So Casper was sort of breaking away a little bit out of the DRS, but he's now been reeled back in to this battle of these four drivers of Nico, Casper, Dara and Luke. Although, oh, I thought that was someone coming into pit. No, it's not. It's just my eyes. Although Luke has dropped off the back of this one, clearly struggling a bit. And we'll actually see Snipes coming in for a pit. That's an interesting one.
Yeah, not quite sure what kind of a strategy he's trying to pull there. I wonder if he maybe picked up some front wing damage. Pretty easy to make a mistake and hit the wall at this track, but I would imagine that will be pretty detrimental towards his race. 10 laps on the mediums seems viable. He'll be putting the mediums on. I say it's viable. Almost all the drivers on the grid currently have just done 10 laps on the mediums, so I think it's definitely viable. We'll see if anybody can make an overtake down the long straight this time. We've seen Oni and Snipes trading positions every lap down the long straight. That doesn't appear to be... That doesn't look like it'll be happening this time around, but we'll see if Casper can make a move on Nico this time around. Nico having done the same to him last time, and Philip getting past Gaitance through turn 9, I think.
He does. We'll stay with Casper, because I don't know if Kogotsky's even going to make a move. He is, actually. This time he's going to make that move, as does Casper on Nico. So these two constantly, lap after lap, switching places, which isn't too bad for them. It doesn't mean they're losing an awful lot of time. But Mario is going to go into the pits. Interesting. So
maybe the mediums don't make it all the way, as Nico battling with Casper. Sorry for cutting you off there. Just nearly making the move into turn 1. I wonder if the hards will be taking an advantage over the mediums now, and I wonder if the hards can go to the end of the race, but maybe the mediums can't, because there was certainly no visible damage from Mario. Skies and several others into the pits as well. Devon, Oni, Jerome, Gaitance, a lot of drivers into the pits now. Oni putting on the softs, so we'll see if those can make it 9 laps. That is a very interesting strategy decision from all of them. And Snipes is a solid distance ahead of Oni, so I'd say the undercut is quite powerful here. So Mario probably getting the strategic advantage on Kogotsky here. We'll see if Kogotsky pits on this lap, or will he try to stretch the mediums to the end of the race? I'm really not sure. This will be an interesting strategy battle, and we'll also see if Casper on those hards can bring those to the end of the race.
yeah, I believe now all the rest of these medium runners who are on old tyres, as we see Nico once again taking Casper, but Dara is also going to take advantage and fly past the IRT man. They need all the points they can get from the IRT boys, does WOR. But will we see any of these guys come into the pits? Is Kogotsky coming in? He is. Nico also coming in. Dara as well. Casper stays out. He is on the hards. Can he go to the end? We'll have to wait and see. Luke stays out. He doesn't want to double stack. Skies also stays out. He's on the hards. Mario obviously pitted. And Philip and Thomas have actually yet to make a single pit stop, as Kogotsky and Nico opt for the soft tyre.
Yep, and Mario and Kogotsky are going to be nearly side by side for turn 2.
Oof.
Kogotsky just falling behind Mario. We'll see if those softs pay dividends at the start of the stint, but we'll also have to wait and see if the mediums are better come the end of the stint, as Kogotsky not actually overtaking Mario here. And I have a little bit of an anecdote with that. I was in a league race. My first league race on this game actually was here at Las Vegas, and I gained about 8 seconds on the top 2 on the final lap because they were both going so slowly, not wanting to lead onto the long straight on the final lap. We'll see if that ends up being a situation that we deal with today, with the top 2, you know, or anyone really battling with no one super close behind. We'll see if they refuse to overtake before, or refuse to be in the lead before the long straight, as Mario right on the back of Skies now. We'll see him presumably getting past on the straight. He'll have the DRS, and we'll see how close Kagatsky is. He might try to make an overtake as well on those soft tires. He's going to get past Skies. Is he going to get past Mario's? The gap is closing. He's still going to put it on the outside, but he can't get through yet. Skies will presumably back out here. He does. So those two both pass Skies, who Skies still needing to pit, presumably. But we'll see as Luke into the pits.
Luke into the pits as expected. Skies does actually come in off the hards, so that raises the question then, will Casper be taking these tyres to the end? It's up in the air. But yes, as you said, it seems to be a bit of mind games from Kagatsky refusing to overtake. And it's a great point that final lap, whoever's leading out, could be at a massive disadvantage because of the powerful DRS all the way down that strip straight. So one to keep an eye on. It may be that Kagatsky just sits here for the rest of the race, but then what does Mario do if Kagatsky's going to do this tactic? What's the response?
There's nothing he really can do, truthfully. I think he just has to hope that the mediums make it better than the softs to the end of the race. He could just try to push really hard, forcing Kagatsky to use up the softs, but if that's not going to be a situation he has to deal with, because Kagatsky's already through at the beginning of this long straight. Mario tucks in behind. He'll just hope he can stay close enough behind with the slipstream, as Kagatsky just flying away from him here with that DRS. 4 tenths, nearly 5 tenths going into the braking zone as Luke is past Philip now. So Philip still hasn't pitted yet in this race. Dara also getting past him. Philip, I wonder if he's holding out for a safety car now, though he has very good evidence that I would say the hards will definitely make it to the end of the race. That said, Kagatsky and Mario have gained about 3 seconds on this past lap on Casper, so Casper, he might be looking at a podium if his pace is really good, but I don't think he'll be looking at the race win on this occasion, barring any potential safety cars, which would allow him to pit for soft compound tires.
Yeah, it's a bold strategy from the IRT pair. Of course, they're in the battle for P2 in the standings. I'll just go on board with Dara actually, just to see if he's going to make a move on Luke. No, he doesn't. He stays put. But of course, they're battling for P2 against WOR. You've got Casper staying out on the hards, obviously losing time. Evidently, we can see that he's losing time to the chasing Kagatsky and Mario. And Philip still on 18-lap-old medium tyres. As you said, probably holding out for a safety car. So this could be quite detrimental to IRT's second place if this doesn't work out.
Yeah, definitely. As we can see Mario gaining on Kagatsky here. Is he going to go for the overtake? He goes to the inside. He is through into second place. That will presumably be first place pretty soon. He's within 3 seconds of Casper now, as he just misses the apex for turn 14 actually, but he still gets the car turned in quite nicely, and Philip losing a pair of positions to Oni and Snipes. Oni gonna try down the inside of Snipes on the WOR driver. Is he going to get it into turn 14? He brakes later. Can he still make the turn in? He does. He goes slightly wide, but he still manages to make it through the next couple of corners. Snipes is now going to have the slipstream, but he's very low on overtake. As I say that, Oni is even lower. So these two are going to battle, presumably into turn 1. Will Snipes go for the inside? He does. Can he outbrake him, as Mario getting overtaken by Kagatsky again?
Okay, so there's not too much tactics going on at the front. They are still swapping positions.
And Philip finally into the pits as well.
As there goes Snipes up the inside.
Yeah, so Oni getting overtaken by Snipes there. We'll see if Skies can gain on that duo, as they are battling quite a bit, and Snipes on the medium, so the softs will have a bit of an advantage. for the time being. Kagotski within a second of Casper now, so we'll see if he can make any overtakes with that DRS. It's going to be Mario behind Kagotski, behind Casper going into this race, but how will it be coming out of it? Both of those drivers gaining on Casper. Kagotski's going to go to the outside. What about Mario? He can't make an overtake. Casper's fighting it out on the inside. There's contact. Oh, just about keeping it out of the wall. We'll see Mario trying to go around the outside Casper now. Mario's going to make it through in the slipstream now of Kagotski. Can he use that slipstream to pull up alongside him into turn 1? Casper holding it out on the inside of the final corner. Is Casper going to try and outbreak Mario into turn 1? He doesn't. Mario keeps P2 for the moment. But will Mario be able to catch and pass Kagotski now? I'd say the catching isn't really an issue. He is right there. But he does need to figure out a way to pass Kagotski now. Kagotski, of course, on the softs, which at this point in the race will still be providing him more grip.
Yeah, that was interesting to see Casper fighting that. He's obviously trying to stay ahead as much as he can.
Oh, Kagotski misses the corner.
He does. He misses that apex, and that's put him under some pressure, but I'm sure Mario will wait and stay steady until the strip DRS, which will make it much easier for him to overtake. But Casper fighting it out, obviously now committed to getting to the end of this race. Does he have the pace to hold off Nico, who's only 3 seconds behind on the soft tyres? That's going to come down to the wire, I think, as we see Mario now on the long straight, gonna pull to the inside and retake P1. It's now really all about, out of these two, who's going to finish first. But Casper is still within the DRS. He just has to stay with them, and then he's got every chance of a podium, or even more than just the 3rd place that he's currently in.
Yeah, if there's any contact, Casper could gain some positions, but we'll see. Mario and Kagotski battling very cleanly indeed. I'm gonna sneeze, sorry.
Bless you. But I'll take over as that happens, because Oni is looking up the inside of Snipes. These two having a great old battle, but here comes GT10 Sky. He's going to make it 3 abreast into turn 1. Up the inside goes Skies. Brilliant. Brilliant move as Snipes and Oni continue to battle it out behind. As Snipes, I believe, now does have the position. Is Oni going to come back at him? Snipes has the DRS, so I think he's going to be safe. Skies won't be, though, as Snipes looks at the inside. He actually doesn't make the move and stays put. But well done, Skies. Brilliant double overtake into turn 1.
Yeah, a very good overtake for him there, and since I like speaking French quickly, félicitations à lui pour cette passe sur les deux, et bonne chance à GT10, je ne sais pas. Yeah, I don't know, I like speaking French quickly, but that was nonetheless, as I more or less tried to say, congratulations to Skies on that overtake. It was a very impressive double overtake into turn 1. But yeah, so lots of overtaking going on as of recent actually, and Kagotski on this occasion stays behind Mario. So I wonder if he'll stick behind until the last lap and then try to make the overtake on the final lap. We'll see actually as he gets quite close to Mario in turn 1, as that's Sky's getting overtaken by Snipes, and somebody's had an issue towards the back of the grid. It's Thomas who's having some troubles down at turn 8. Turn 8 and 9. But the rest of the grid managing decently well as Snipes gets overtaken by Skies again. Skies back through towards turn 1 now as Oni's going to send it up the inside of the Alfa Romeo with the WR, and he spins.
Yeah, it looks like Oni took too much speed into turn 1 there and had to actually commit to trying to make a move, and unfortunately the space just wasn't there for him. Bit of contact which has spun him around, so that is a shame for Oni, who's now going to have the company of Jeroen and Devin and Philip behind him, so a new set of drivers for him to be battling out with.
Yep, and we'll see if Snipes and Skies continue their battle. Snipes just over a second behind Skies now, and that top two, and Kagotski's just messing around with the DRS, opening and closing it, so I'd imagine he is sort of playing games now, but Mario, oh, he's just lifting off. Kagotski does not want to take the lead of the race. I think he is going to try and stick behind in second until the final lap of the race, and then try to pull the overtake down towards turn 14 on that occasion, as Dara getting ahead of Luke. So Luke, the CPI driver, losing a position to the WOR driver, but Luke still running a solid 6th as Philip overtaking Jerome, and he's going to have a go at Oni as well, down the inside towards turn 14. It's going to be 3 wide possibly, not quite, but he is through on Oni as well, so Oni falling down another position after that contact on turn 1 on the previous lap. So not what the LDL driver will have wanted. But he is in the slipstream of Philip now. He's going to try around the outside of the final corner. That's brave. Can he get around the outside of turns 1 and 2? He can't quite. Philip does maintain that position, but he's still going to try and hold it there. I think he just sort of runs wide a little bit there, offline in the marbles, and he's going to lose even more time as he spins again through turns 3 and 4. And that is only around and into the wall, not what the LDL driver will have been hoping for whatsoever.
No, that's 8-lap-old softs now overheating and starting to wear off for LDL only, so that could be quite big in the battle for P4 as the TGT driver, as Paul Parra passes him, and that will be a nice sight for the TGT driver. As we go to the front again, because Kagotski still refuses to pass Mario, so the tactics are here. He's pinned it all on this final lap, and he's got to stay with Mario now for this lap until he gets onto that long straight, as we see Thomas also having issues on those soft tyres. It's too late for a safety car. He has got going again, but here we go. So the final lap of the season in F2, Season 5. Who is going to win the Las Vegas Grand Prix? It's between Mario and Kagotski. This is it.
Yeah, and I think also worth pointing out is Kagotski's ERS compared to Mario's. Mario is about 25%, Kagotski at about 80%, so he will have a huge advantage here as Jerome getting a 3-second time penalty. Apologies, not Jerome, Thomas for LRN, although both of them do have time penalties. But it is going to come down to this through turn 10, 11, 12, and then onto the long straight. Can Kagotski keep close enough? Can he make use of the ERS enough? I think Mario trying to save a little bit of ERS before that straight, but not able to do it yet. Not enough, certainly. He's at about 30% compared to Kagotski's 80%. Kagotski, he's going to get on the overtake now. He's going to get on throttle. He's going to get on the DRS, and he's going to get onto P1, surely.
Yes, here he goes, DRS wide open, and he makes the move round the outside of Mario. Mario cannot have a response. No DRS for him. Kagotski flies into the lead. There's changes behind. Nico moving into the podium positions ahead of Casper, who stayed out on those hard tyres. But the Grand Prix winner of Las Vegas is going to be CPI Kagotski. Well done to him. Mario comes in at second, and LDL Nico did catch Casper to take the podium. Well done to him. Casper, commiserations, but well driven on those hard tyres to take P4. Darren takes P5 ahead of CPI Luke. Good battling between those two. Skies ends up in P7. Some nice moves from him to get inside the top 7 places. Snipes misses out, actually finishes a fair few seconds behind Skies in P8, and Philip takes P9. And on the line, oh no, there was a penalty. A penalty means GT10 Devin rounds off the top 10 with Jerome in P11. The RVL boys of Lorenzo and Gaitans in P12 and 13. Paul Parra for TGT in 14th. I think they may have just held on. It's going to be very tight because of that Nico P3 for LDL, and LDL only finishing P15. Couple last laps, really struggling on those tyres, and LRN Thomas, just not his day today. He'll be finishing up in 16th and the only retirement we had was Harry Palmer on the end of lap 3.
Yeah, and such a fantastic race, honestly. I think so many overtakes throughout the field. I think real life, it was a decent race at Vegas, but for sim racing, it's maybe not the best of tracks to drive, but a fantastic track for battling and for spectating. Lots of overtakes every single lap. Maybe not the best considering it's basically a guaranteed overtake down that long straight, down the Las Vegas Strip. But not to take away from all the overtakes that happened, many of them were very impressive. As we can see there, Kagatsky hoisting the trophy.
Yeah, well done, Kagatsky. He's been here over the season 5 for a lot of the races and come away with a fair few wins. And I do believe that he may have possibly won the drivers' standings for the tier as well. So well done to him, rounding off an amazing season for CPI and himself. So well done, Mario. Congratulations on the P2. Well driven. Really could have not done anything about that, to be honest. Kagatsky just bided his time, played the tactics game, and came away with the win. But well done to Mario. A very good race, very good qualifying as well. And well done to LDL Nico. Qualified in pole, but unfortunately couldn't hold on to the race win. But he does come away with a podium for LDL, and it will be close to see whether they have snatched P4 away from TGT. And WOR against IRT, they've all finished relatively similar positions to each other, as you can see, 4th, 5th and 8th and 9th. So it's highly likely that IRT have confirmed themselves as second place in the standings, but WOR should be proud with P3 as well in the standings. So overall, as you said, Adrian, a really, really fantastic Grand Prix. A lot of action. We sort of had a load of different groups separate up 3 or 4 drivers, and it was just constant overtaking. Not all on the strip straight. We had some in other areas without the DRS as well, or in the other DRS zones. So overall, I would say a good, successful first Las Vegas trip here in EML.
Yep, lots of fantastic racing. I'll also just point out that Tier 1, F1, just 2 laps to go, just got out of the safety car, so lots of close battling there. Worth checking them out. But yeah, as for F2, I'd say that was some really excellent battling. And yeah, I think Kagatsky, well-deserved win. Mario fought it out really hard. And also congratulations to Nico on rounding out the podium there. Some fantastic battling all around, really. And yeah, as I said, lots of overtakes into turn 14. But you're right, there were lots of overtakes into other parts of the track as well. And I think that all things considered, quite a good race.
Yeah, and that is where we finish the season. It's been a very, very fun season. I always enjoy the EML seasons as my voice continues to struggle in areas. But yeah, that is it. That is season 5, done and dusted. We will be back in the new year for season 6, so do keep your eyes peeled for any qualifying sessions. Of course, CPI will be promoted to F1, so we won't be seeing them back here in F2. But if we have new teams wanting to join EML, we may have a qualifying session before we get into the season. But we will be back. Thank you, everyone, for joining in the streams, comments, likes, and subscribing to League Racing TV. Continue to do all of those things for us. We really appreciate it. And Adrian, thank you for joining me at the tail end of this season. It's been a pleasure coming with you, and hopefully we can resume together in the new year. But lastly, actually, before you do go, or we do go, can I get your final driver of the day?
Oh, it's got to go to Kagatsky for me. He was very tactical through that final stint, and even before then, he was just so quick. He did make a few mistakes, especially he was struggling a lot through turns 7 and 8. But I would say overall, he was very quick, a well-deserved win, and a driver of the day from me.
Yep, fair enough. Agree with every single point. You can't take it away from the man. He played his tactics completely right. I would agree, but for the same as last week, just to have another different driver of the day. Honourable mentions for me were probably Nico and Casper. Casper on those hards did well. Shame he couldn't hold on to the podium. Nico had an excellent qualifying and maintained a podium finish. But my driver of the day will go to Mario. Brilliant qualifying on his own without a teammate. The support of the slipstream, and showed great pace in the race. Unfortunately, just was matched with Kogotsky, who was on the better tyre at the end and had the tactics all set up ready for that final lap. But overall, a really good weekend of racing there for Mario.
Yeah, he was very quick as well. I think he's probably my second place for driver of the day. But certainly, as you said, Nico and Casper also worth shouting out for their excellent performances. And before his incident, which really threw him down the grid, Philip was also very impressive, I want to say.
Yeah, no, agreed. Yeah, he did run those mediums for a long time, so actually did quite well. I think he finished in the top 10 still, so a really good effort from him.
Yeah. Well, that was much fun. Glad to have been here for the last few rounds of the season. And glad to have gotten the opportunity to commentate with both you and Jamie. And yeah, just huge thanks to everyone at EML for having me.
Well, thank you, Adrian. It's a pleasure to have you here, and then it's helpful having your French as well with the GT10 team, so always an added bonus. So, no, thank you very much. I appreciate it, and I'm sure the guys at EML appreciate it as well. Those still watching, we'll see you in the new year. I can't even speak now, my voice is going. We'll round it off. We'll see you in the new year. Thank you for watching Season 5 in F2. You've all been amazing. And we'll see you very soon. Good night.